Hey guys, we're back on the 53. In the last video, we took the engine basically as far as we can in the, shall we say, primitive surroundings that we're working in. And I think it's time to take this thing back to the shop and get working on it, do it right. But there's a few jobs we've got to do before we can do that. Follow along while we fix a few little issues and get ready to load this thing on the trailer and haul it home. The first issue, I don't know how well it shows up here. You notice that the steering is, we'll say, 10 degrees or so, 20 degrees off of straightforward. And that makes loading this thing on the trailer really difficult. When it was originally loaded on the car hauler, it was done by a big machine and he just set it on and backed away. Unfortunately, none of the machinery we have is capable of just picking this thing up. So we're going to have to tow it. I believe this brake is not seized. Oh, I was wrong. The brake is not completely seized. We can put the bar on it here and get it to turn a little bit. It's not exactly going to roll fast, but that's one of four that we've got. We've got the front and the rear wheel on this side are already off. I want to jack up the other side, put them on blocks and take those wheels off. Get them to town. We're going to have to get some fresh tires on there. I'm having a hard time finding 15-inch rollers these days. It seems that the 15-inch tire has gone the way of the dodo, and nobody's got any kicking around that'll at least hold air, even with a tube in them. So I think we're going to have to put a brand new set of tires on this thing. It's kind of an ouch expense that I wasn't prepared for at this point, but if we want this thing to roll, I think that's going to be a necessary step. Need a little bit more of a challenge to get these off and up on blocks, but I think that's the right thing to do, and we'll take those to town with us. This front one, this thing's been sitting here for 22 years and I have no idea how long it sat before that, but this front tire is still holding air. Unbelievable. Obviously with a tube in it. I don't know whether it shows up very well here on camera, but the steering is 10 degrees or so off of straight. The kingpins appear to be seized up on it, so I've got the grease gun and a grease nipple saver if necessary. Hopefully we can put a little bit of heat and a little bit of grease into those kingpins and we'll be able to get them to break free to the point where we can steer this thing. Hopefully there's enough room for you, me, and the camera. So here's our grease nipple. Something tells me that that's going to be a little grumpy about taking grease. But we'll give it a try. Fortunately, the grease gun is just about empty because I've been playing with the mini excavator with it. But I do have a couple of fresh tubes of grease if we need them. Oh, we're getting grease. I think we're going to put a little bit of heat on that. Unfortunately, the tie rod end here is sitting on the block that's supporting the suspension, so it's not going to be able to turn at this point. But I got to rejack up the front end here anyways to take the tire off the other side and repeat this whole thing over there. I wouldn't trust that brake line as far as I could throw it, but it's not cracked. Let me get the tire off the other side. We'll try and repeat this, and I'll get these blocks set up so that we can actually maybe steer this thing, and we'll see if we've got the steering freed up. Now guys, I gotta be honest, I don't know whether it's the grease fitting that's the problem, or whether it is the kingpin bushing. So let's try a grease joint rejuvenator. It's basically a little piston. Pull it out. Squirt a little bit of solvent. Put it on the grease fitting. I don't know how well you guys are going to be able to see this. And we just give it a few taps. And it packs the solvent out into the grease fitting. That's the theory. Now we'll see if it takes any grease. I take it the answer to that is no. Well guys, I can't work on the other side where the truck's sitting. I'm kneeling on a dirt bank that's like 6 or 8 inches above the bottom, like above this level here. So I'm jammed up into the wheel well, and I can't see what I'm doing, and it doesn't give very good pictures for you guys. So I came back to this side. Let's work on this, get this grease off of here, and we'll see if we can maybe break these grease fittings loose, get them so they take grease, and we know that they take grease, and then we can look at what we got to do to get the kingpin to take grease. Once we figured out this side, then we can apply that to the other side and hopefully get it so that we can steer. This top kingpin bushing took grease, so I think we're okay there. The bottom one though, I don't think it did. Looks to me like there's fresh grease coming out of that. Well, we could put the pry bar on this one and see if it'll move. Didn't try that yet. Let me grab it. You guys are in the way. Now we can put the pry bar on the right way. That looks to me like we got some movement. So I think this side is probably free, or free enough. That's a good sign. Call it a partial win. Well, let me go back to the other side and I'll crawl in there as best I can and see if I can make some progress, pop those grease fittings out, make sure they're taking grease, and see if we can convince that stupid thing to break free. It's a bronze bushing on a chrome pin. Even if it's sat in the mud for years, it should still break free fairly easy. So let me keep working at it. Hopefully we can make some progress. I have had some success. Unfortunately, I wasn't recording when it happened, but I'll tell you guys what happened. We got this pry bar in behind the wheel, and pulling on it wasn't doing anything for me. I put a ratchet strap on it, put some good heavy duty pressure. Basically was pulling as hard as I could, and then grabbed the old steering wheel, gave it a little reef, and lo and behold, the wheels are straight. So where we're at now, we've got the front wheel straight, Both front brakes are at least free enough to turn. We've got to jack up the back end and get that other wheel buzzed off, and then see if the back brakes are free enough to turn. If they are, then I have a sneaking suspicion, especially with a couple thousand pounds of cast iron back there, that if we put a decent set of rollers on this truck, tug it around a little bit, pop the clutch, we might be able to break that engine free. Because I don't think it's that stuck at this point. I think we just got that one piston that's being difficult. Well, that's not happening today. Let me take my other cinder block. Nothing like putting a vehicle up on blocks. Let me take the other cinder block and put it under the rear axle. We'll get that other wheel buzzed off, and then I guess kind of clean up and get ready to head for town. We got 4 tires we're going to have to deal with, if I can find 15-inch tires. Let me buzz that wheel off, then we'll check the brakes. What do you figure? Why don't you stop the video right now, leave me a comment down below, and figure what are the chances that these 2 back brakes are going to be able to turn just like the fronts. Okay, did you leave your comment? Let's give it a try. Oh, that one turns good. She's definitely crusty, but that'll roll. That's what we need. Now we're over here. Let's see if this one will roll. I need some lug nuts back on there. So another neat thing about this truck, it appears it's got overloads all the way around. We've got overload springs here in the back, and we've got coils added on top of the leaf springs in the front. They're in pretty rough shape, but they're there. Ooh. We got a stuck one. Now, let me grab a hammer. We'll give this a little tappy tap and see if we can break it free. And the reason I didn't show any jacking is jackalls have a tendency to bite. It's just a little dent on the finger. Well, that doesn't look good. The other side turns so good. Why is this side so difficult? Probably for the same reason that the kingpins are a challenge. Let me mess with this a little bit more. I'll bring you guys back and give you an update on where I get to. Well guys, I got an update. It took a whole bunch of whacks with the small sledgehammer, but see if I can get on here. We got some movement. It's a little bit crunchy, but definitely it will roll with a tire on it. That's going to be the next step. But I think that's going to be its own video. Thanks a lot for stopping by. Greatly appreciate you taking the time to watch the video. Give me one of those thumb up things if you can. Appreciate that. Give me a like. That really helps out the video. If you haven't already done so, consider subscribing to the channel. Maybe ring that bell icon. And we'll catch you guys in the next mess. Thanks for watching.